Welcome to Sprout Central. We have a big show for you today. If you've ever thought, I want to be in the movies or I want to make a living in the movie business, this is the show for you. In fact, I think you should call your friends and your neighbors right now and tell them to tune into this show. What do you think, Joey?
If I hadn't left my phone in the car, I'd be calling people to tell them to tune in, for sure.
Right. Because of the movie business. I mean, everybody growing up wants to be in the movies, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I've thought about, writing movies and wanting to be in movies. Absolutely. Yeah, I've lived a very interesting life. People should watch what I've done.
Well, everybody says they lived a very interesting life, Joey. But you know what? Maybe we can talk about that with our guest today. In fact, we've got a great guest. If you've ever thought, I want to make a living in the movies, this is the show to watch. We've got somebody who, she didn't just wake up and say, I want to go to Hollywood and be a star. She decided she wanted to create and taught herself how to make movies and is currently a filmmaker. Today we have Jonah Monet on the show. Clarence, do we have a picture of Jonah we can put up? Did you get one of those? There's Jonah. So we have Jonah today. She's going to talk to us about the movie business, and she just finished a movie called Go Fishing, and we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I remember she said it has the guy that does voices for Scooby-Doo and stuff, so that's going to be a really good conversation there.
Okay, but first we're going to go back to what we've been talking about, which is how to turn your passion into your income. And to do that, we've been going through how to write a business plan. My little ear thing's coming out, but that's okay. We're just going to put it back in. And so we've gone through several steps, right, to write a business plan.
We have.
Things like mission statement all the way down to what? Where are we at right now on the business plan?
Mission statement, keys to success, objectives. What was after that?
There we go.
Company summary and company ownership. I was about to say, we did make a review chart for this. There it is.
Right.
So we made it all the way through company ownership last time.
Excellent. So we're working on and kind of going along with you as you're working on your business plan, right?
Exactly, yeah. I've made quite a bit of progress on my business plan.
Really?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Have you gotten past the company summary and all that?
I got so far that I actually finished it.
You finished your business plan?
I finished the business plan. I did.
That's it. Our first success story. We've got someone who was inspired by the show to start a business and write a business plan, and he's already finished his business plan.
I have. It's a pretty small loan that I'm going to be asking for, so I've submitted it to a couple of loan funds.
Working through Sprout, obviously.
Working through Sprout, obviously,
right.
Yeah.
Sprout assistant.
Absolutely. Contacts that we've fostered together. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be a good thing.
Well, good luck with that. So, was it pretty easy just to sit down and write a business plan?
I'll tell you what made it a lot easier was having somebody who knew what they were talking about, being able to help me through with every step.
Yeah.
So being at the Sprout office down there, working on the Sprout computer with the business plan program it made it so much easier. I couldn't imagine having to put together the charts and tables and graphs the business plan program, that's the word I was looking for, the program puts together for you. When you put all the information in there, and then it takes all that information and it turns into these cool looking graphs and charts and stuff that looks really appealing to somebody when you go to them and you say, hey, I want to borrow $25,000. And they go, okay, well, how are you going to pay that back? And you go, well, I think I might do this, or here's a couple of words and some numbers. But to go in there with charts, graphs, multiple pages, lots of colors, lots of different charts too, because there's pie charts, there's bar charts, stuff like that. So it was really cool seeing it all come together with all the different information that I'd been compiling and being able to take it all from being in my head to actually being on paper in a 34-page concise plan of attack over the next 3 years, how it's going to not only make enough money to pay itself back, but then also continue to grow in the future.
So let me ask you this, Joey. What did you learn about your business that you didn't know from writing your business plan?
Well, I think probably the biggest thing that I learned was what it was going to actually take. Because when I first started out, I remember thinking to myself, okay, I want to have a silversmith workshop for myself to work in, but I don't want to either go to a storage shed and rent out a storage shed for a little bit of money and then sweat my self to death in there. So I thought I want to have a retail location or some sort of something on top of this silversmith workshop that will make money and support itself. And so I thought, well, rent's going to be $600, so I only need to make $600 a month. And then as I started going through it, I thought, okay, actually I need to have the insurance, and I need to have utilities, and I need to have this, that, the other. And there was a whole list of things that until I sat down and really started figuring, I didn't realize that I actually needed to make way more than $600 a month. I needed to make closer to $1,600 a month to be able to afford the space that I was in. I actually had it broken down to a square footage of, it cost me $1.17 per square foot. So if I have a 900 square foot area, it needs to make me this much if I have this many workstations. So really, I think the benefit that came out of it was knowing down to the literally last square foot how it was gonna work.
Right. And a big deal you mentioned is to flush out exactly what it's going to cost you to run your business. You don't want to start a business, get the amount of money you think you need, and then realize, oh, well, I forgot a long list of things that could end up, causing your business to fail. One of the big things about writing your business plan is to learn what it takes for you to be successful in your business plan. Like we've said all along, your business plan is for you, right, Joey?
Exactly.
And so we're going to continue it today. We're going to kind of review, and we should put up the chart of what everybody at home should have done already, or if they're like you, they should already be finished with their business plan and have it in our hands so we can get them alone.
Right. It took about 13 hours of serious hard work at the computer for this to get done, but it took probably another 6 or 7 hours outside of being at the computer, thinking about all the different things that I was going to need and doing the math that I later then put into the different charts and graph tables and stuff. So altogether, you're looking at least 20 hours. And also, I type really fast and I'm good at math, so it didn't take me that long, So realistically speaking, if you have to factor this into other stuff that you're doing, it should take you about 24 hours or so to start to finish. So if you can partition out that amount of time to sit down and work on it, you can turn your passion into your career with only about a day's worth of work.
So 24 actual work hours to write the business plan for a lifetime or generations of income. That's what we want to help people with. That's what this show's about, community. We want to build this community by helping the people in it to write their business plan, start their business, and create jobs for generations of people.
Absolutely.
Or make a living just doing whatever your passion is.
Right, exactly. Having fun doing what you're doing. Like they say, you'll never work a day in your life if you do what you love. So yeah, I talked to my mentor, the silversmith who's selling me all the equipment. He talks about when I went to go see him and I was trying to decide whether I wanted to go finish school for philosophy or accounting or whether I wanted to actually pursue silversmithing. He said, well, what do you want to do with your time, with your life? And I was like, oh, I don't really know. And he goes, I'm going to paint a cup today. I've been painting a cup for 3 days because he's a potter as well. He said, that's all I'm going to do today. If that's all I want to do today. So all I'm going to do today is I'm going to paint that cup all day long because that's what I do. And I thought to myself, okay, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I'd like to have that enthusiasm of what I'm going to do and not fumble through it and think, well, I guess after I get done doing whatever, I can maybe go to the bar for a little while or, go shoot some pool. Like, I'm going to be doing what I want to do. I'm going to be working with my hands. I'm going to be smithing silver and gold and creating jewelry and pieces of art that people are going to enjoy all day long, every day. And that doesn't sound like a job to me. That sounds like that sounds like,
It sounds like living your dream life to me.
Exactly.
And I hope we can help a lot of people do that. I want to put up something real quick before we go to the commercial break. Clarence, can we put up something about the startup cost? So here's a thing that it's really important to hone in on when we're writing a business plan. And we're back to writing the business plan, folks, and that's the startup table. Okay, so I'm going to go through this thing. Joey, can you read like the first paragraph and let's talk about that?
Sure. So in this first step, we're going to forecast the startup expenses. The key points are that timing is critical. Timing is the only difference between expenses here and those listed in your profit and loss table, which we will get to later. If the expense happens before the first month of the plan, it belongs here. Otherwise, it goes in the profit and loss table. And I remember when we were working on this in my business plan, we put up a bunch of expenses that we ended up having to change to the profit and loss. And I remember there was some working with this, and it would have been definitely a lot better to have considered this at the beginning whenever we...
Right. The key point here is your startup table in your business plan. You want to just, everybody right now, sit down and start researching and write down what it's going to cost you before you open your doors. That's your startup cost.
Right.
The money that you have to spend before you open the doors to have your business is the startup cost. After that, everything else is going to go into the profit and loss table. Your monthly expenses, your rent, your internet, all of that goes somewhere else. But if you have to buy anything to start your business, that goes in the startup table. So that's what we want the folks at home to work on today. Clarence, that's good, is the startup table. We're gonna pick back up there next week with the startup table and continue. But we want you to just do the research, look up those prices, and just figure out, exactly what it's going to cost to do your business. We're having a little technical trouble with the ear thing, but that's okay. The show must go on.
The show must go on.
So do that, and please email the show if you have questions about that, or just have a comment about the show and want to reach out to us. Feel free to email the show. Email me at dennis@sprout.fund. Okay, we're going to take a break, but when we're back, we're going to talk to filmmaker Jonah Monet about her new movie, Go Fishing, right? And let's put up a poster of Go Fishing to go off the commercial. She wrote this movie, directed this movie, made this movie. She's the most make it happen person I've ever met, and I can't wait for her to be sitting on the set. We'll be right back.
Everyone needs some guidance in their investments so they make money with their investments and not lose their money. Money Focus here on Ocean 7, Monday at 10 a.m. and at 6 p.m. The star of the show is Justin O'Keefe. Justin, you've been advising people in the area of finance for 35 to 40 years. Okay, how would you advise someone if they come to you and say, what should I do with my money? I'm getting ready to retire in a few years. I don't want to lose my money. Where would you take it?
Okay, yeah. So it all depends on, where the person is at in their risk level. So we don't want to do anything too risky with their money. So we would probably put it with an insurance company or something where they could get a higher rate of return, keep the risk down, so that way once they retire they'll have a stream of income to add to their Social Security income. And so that way they're not living just on Social Security only, because money talks and assets can grow wings and fly.
Okay, that's Money Focus here on Ocean 7. We'll see you at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Mondays. Edward St. Pé with Nathan Prescott from Law Focus. Hello, Nathan.
Hey.
Law Focus, we have it every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. and then again a repeat performance at 6 p.m.
Sure.
So tell us, what is Law Focus all about?
Well, Law Focus is sort of self-explanatory, and it is a show focused on the law, but an ancillary sort of arm to that is that Law Focus involves the law in you. It involves how the law affects your day-to-day life. Through the shows, we've addressed the Landlord-Tenant Act, we've addressed trademarks, copyrights, constitutionality of issues, criminal issues, and even current events that exist in the law with different types of things that come up. So anything that involves the law and affects you is fair game for Law Focus, and we're proud of that. We try to put out new product a good bit.
Well, it's a situation that affects everyone. The law affects everybody, and we're happy to have this program. Thank you for being with us every week on Law Focus. That's Law Focus every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. and again at 6 p.m. on Ocean 7.
Thank you.
Dr. Timmons, tell us about your practice in downtown Ocean Springs.
Well, we've been here since 2006. We're a digital dental practice where we do digital impressions and Invisalign, same-day implant crowns, and guided implant surgery, etc.
So a person can literally come in and have the implants done in one day?
In one day. Sometimes people break a tooth off at the gum line, unfortunately, and we're able to extract that tooth and place the implant and place a crown in 1 2-hour visit.
Okay, what is the contact information? What's the most convenient way for people to reach out and make an appointment and get in contact with your dental clinic?
On Facebook, on our Facebook page, or timmonsfamilydental.com.
Thanks for being with us today on Ocean 7.
Thank you.
And welcome back. Just like we promised, we have director and actress Jonah Monet on the set. Hey, Jonah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Dennis, and thank you, viewer, for chiming in.
So, Jonah, you're making movies And I heard you actually recently just wrote your own movie, wrote a movie, directed it, acted in it, and did a bunch of other things to make the movie go fishing. You wrote the script, right?
I did. This was my second go on a feature film, writing, producing, and directing, and I also acted in them as well.
Right. So, did you go to film school? How did you get into the movie business?
I did not actually go to film school. Do you want me to talk about the process?
Well, we want to know, the folks at home, there are a lot of people that have always thought about, I want to be in the movies or I want to make a movie. And you're doing that. I mean, you're doing that every day. And, there are people that would love to hear, how do you go from having the desire to do that to actually maybe even just working on a movie set, maybe working for you on one of your movies?
Actually, Dennis, what I'd like to say is you're out of reasons. It's all excuses from here if you want to do it. I mean, if you look at David, who directed John Wick, he shot a snowball scene that you can look up on YouTube that was shot on an iPhone 11, and it's amazing, and it's as good as anything out there that you're going to see anywhere. So you really don't have any excuses. You just need to get up and go do it. And what are the steps to that? The steps are so different from everyone else because your end goal may be different from someone else's. I was always after feature films and TV. Someone else may decide they want to do the film festival circuit, or they just want to do short films, or they just want to tell stories about their family and such. So you need to find your end goal. And first of all, just like with any other thing else, as you well know in business, stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Go get yourself a mentor, okay? It's all about pre-pro, it's pre-production, what you put into the beforehand leading up to. And it's a business just like any other business. Acting is an actual tool set. You have to go to school and get your tools. And school can be anything from just going to school itself, acting classes, get yourself a coach, get with someone and ask them for their footprint. All actors basically need the same thing. They need their controllables in order. Your controllables are your social media, your headshots, your resume, your acting reel, and you need eventually an agent as well. And typically, the best way to start is by getting an acting coach. They will kind of help walk you through all of those pieces singly and in order so that you're not wasting time and money. There's no point in reinventing the wheel. It is a lot cheaper to go to an acting coach and say, hey, help me get started. Who do you know? If you are in the South and you are looking for an acting coach, the area of Lafayette, Rachel Whittle is a phenomenal acting coach. In New Orleans, you have Jim Gleason, Lance Nichols, you have James DeMont. You've got, in Mississippi, you have Scotty Whitehurst, who's actually my agent. He's a phenomenal acting coach. And he was the right-hand man of Matthew Morgan, who is one of the largest casting agents on the entire East Coast, including of Canada. So don't waste your time. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Go get yourself an acting coach. They can get you with someone that you can afford headshots with. There's no point in shooting a reel. What a reel actually is, it's your online resume. It's small clips, 3 to 6 second clips, maybe up to 30 seconds, totaling up to 4 minutes max of each project you've been in as an actor. So you would want to not waste time trying to go shoot that and then go, oh, I could have done this better if I had a coach. You wasted a lot of time and money trying to do that. So go get your coach first, and they will get you started. And that's in the acting side of it. As far as the directing goes, still look at a mentor, look at shots, learn. If you want to be a good actor, become a good director. If you want to become a good director, become a writer. And you will back up a step, and you will really get a large scope of what you actually need to be doing. And as a director or story writer, go do it. Even if it's 3 pages, go write it, go shoot it with your iPhone. It doesn't matter if these people are novices or what, you will learn how to frame things on thirds, which are critical. Framing things are everything. So you'll need 5 to 6 shots per scene. and you'll learn. You'll learn in the process, and just keep doing it until you get good at it. There aren't any excuses anymore.
Just like everything else, well, that's a great idea. Get a mentor. If you can find a mentor, and there are plenty of them, and then
Sprout is a mentor.
And then educate yourself. Those are some things to do. And if you got a story, maybe start writing down your story. Write it in novel form.
Write it down.
Work on that.
Final draft is a great format for writing screenplays. If you need a book to get started, Save the Cat is an excellent book. It's kind of like the go-to Bible for screenplay writers, and it's easy, it's a quick read. But just pick it up. Write 5 minutes a day. That's all you have to do, and within a year you'll be good. Within 2 years you'll be great, especially after you try to shoot that and realize not everything that's on paper works perfectly in real life. So you have to really buckle down and try what you're doing and see and find your own mistakes and study other people that have been successful before you as well.
That's great advice. So you said somebody shot a movie on an iPhone 11?
Yes, it's amazing. It is amazing.
I mean, I heard you need like very expensive cameras and things like that to shoot a movie.
Dennis, if you think about it, everything's going with 4K or above, right? That's what you're going to get with high production value. And we now have telephones that shoot 4K or above. And as long as you start to understand lighting, you can use practical lighting. It's okay. That's what's already there, what's in the room. You can get 1 or 2 little 1x lights and make magic. You really can. Just study a little bit. It's all in the pre-production. Everything's in the pre-production. And once you understand how to frame things up and what becomes pretty and aesthetically pleasing, and you understand how lighting affects all of that. So study the lighting, and you'll get the broad spectrum understanding of all of it, and you'll see your own mistakes quickly. You really will.
So we're going to have to, this is great advice, but we're going to have to move on to you for a minute here, because you just made a movie. So you wrote a movie. Tell us, I heard that the guy who does Scooby-Doo and Shaggy contacted you and asked you to make a movie. Is that the way it went down?
Yes, this current film I did, I wrapped on a post-Civil War feature film that I shot for a year on the Magnificent Seven movie set. And then I wrote I've decided to be a very responsible storyteller. There are only a few ways you can convey human emotion. There's 4 or 5: music, art, sex, and storytelling. And storytelling is critical. It has been around since the beginning of the foundation of man. We have sat around campfires and expressed emotion. And like I said, those are our mentors. Why reinvent the wheel? We learn our lessons from humans that have already cleared the path for us. So conveying human emotion is critical. My choice of medium is filmmaking. So I've decided to be a more responsible storyteller because we are affecting the youth of this generation. And that's my goal, is to give them something worthy of watching. So I'm going to start doing a Christmas film every year. So I wrote the Christmas film. We were about to start filming, and Scott Ennis, who is the voice of Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and 60 or 70 Hanna-Barbera voices, he contacted me and said, "Hey, I want in your movie, and I want to write the jingle for it." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "And I want you to write me a slapstick funny humor type film." And I said, "Okay, we're in COVID. Our country needs something lighthearted, fun, witty, sharp, and just nonsensical to distract us and give us some joy in life." So I agreed to it. So I wrote the film for him. And then he said, "Okay, will you direct it?" I said, "Okay." So we jumped right in. Since I was on, I put Christmas Coffee on hold because of COVID. I have a Santa that is in every single one of my films, and I love my Santa, Lee Cannon, dearly. We call him Pie Noel, which is French for Father Christmas. And I didn't want anything to happen to him because of COVID, so I put Christmas Coffee on hold and focused entirely on Go Fishing. And we started filming Go Fishing, and Scott has a lot of connections. It wound up being a modern Three Stooges type film, and it's clean, it's fun, family friendly, no cursing, no anything like that, no sex, no nudity, and Tony and Scott brought on Mountain Man, Glenn Geist from Swamp People.
Swamp People.
Yes,
Yeah.
Lovely people. I love both those guys. Mountain Man in particular is one of my favorite people now.
Oh, yeah.
And he does not do everything else like he speaks. The man drives. The man moves around quickly.
Oh, there's you you had the Smokey and the Bandit car in this movie.
Yes, yes.
That's sitting in Burt Reynolds' seat right there.
Absolutely. That is actually the car that Burt Reynolds drove. I got to pull the visor down, and Sally Fields and Burt Reynolds had signed it, and I got to drive that car, and we are actually doing car stunts and chase scenes, and I am doing my own stunts now, it was a lot of fun. We were doing donuts and slinging gravel and all kinds of great things. So there's a lot of movie references and video game references because we wanted to have a broad spectrum audience, and a lot of people get to enjoy this, whether they're elderly or Gen X or baby boomer or even millennials. So we put references to Smokey and the Bandit. We have Larry Stewart from Restless Heart in this film, Spud McConnell, who was in Oh Brother Where Art Thou. We have a lot of Dukes of Hazzard, an actor from Dukes of Hazzard, Byram came on. We have just such an assortment that it's a campy, fun, coming up comedy is what it is.
Well, great job on that. I mean, when I first met you, you were acting. Well, you weren't even really acting, and you've grown into. I look at you as a filmmaker now, because every time I turn around, you're making a new movie. I know I followed you along as you were making this Devil's Hitching Post movie, which I expect to be really good. And you're also doing a television series. You do, I think it's a travel series on television.
Wide-Eyed Wonders.
Wide-Eyed Wonder. We're gonna have we're going to have you back to talk about
Awesome.
Wide-Eyed Wonders and all the tales from that.
Awesome.
Any interesting stories from the set you want to tell us before you go? Any fun happenings going on in the movie set? I heard y'all bought a fake 12-pound bass for the show.
We did. We were fishing in a pond that had no fish.
Ah.
So we actually ordered a fish online, and he was 12 pounds because there's a fishing competition in the film. And I play the character basically like Daisy Duke, who always shows up. She's a Mary Sue who always saves the day and has what she needs to save the day. And she's always saving these Three Stooges characters who are always obviously in trouble. And I took it kind of from a slapstick humor type scenario to more of like a Canadian hockey humor, which is a little bit grittier, fun, and more realistic. So there's a lot of fun things that happen in this film. We actually we blew up an artificial alligator.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there were no people or animals hurt in this film, by the way.
Okay.
But
I think we're out of time. How are we doing on time, Clarence? Okay, well, we're running out of time.
Okay.
Just tell us I got to hear the alligator story before we go, though.
So we did blow up an alligator, and it was an artificial alligator, and it was amazing and fun. We just did a lot of fun things on this set, so many things. You'll have to come see. One of the fishermen actually did catch an alligator, and he gets to ski across the lake being pulled by an alligator. That was Johnny. So it's just a fun thing. Yes, Johnny Rock.
Well, I couldn't be happier that you came to be on the show, drove down and visited with us today. And I definitely want to have you back when this one's released, and keep up with your ongoings. I already do, but I think the folks at home are going to want to as well.
Awesome.
Now that they've had a chance to meet you.
Well, thank you guys for having me, and thanks again to the viewer for chiming in with us, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jonah.
Look forward to it.
All right, well, that's it for this edition of Sprout Central. Be sure to join us next week. We're going to continue on our path of helping you start your business.